Hi friend, today we're going to be painting this whimsical folk art inspired landscape. It is great for the beginner watercolorer. We are going to be working on a gradient for the sky for a watercolor technique. We will also be working on some color mixing. I hope you guys enjoy this video. It is quite relaxing, so grab a cup of whatever you like and sit back and enjoy, and I hope you guys will paint along with me. The material that we will be using, we are going to be using our Danielle Smith watercolor. Then we will be using our Etcher Everyday sketchbook. So sit back and enjoy, guys. We will begin. Here is the sketch if you want to be able to pause it and sketch it out. And we will go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to begin with the sky, and we're going to go ahead and use some Phthalo Blue green shade. So we're going to put that right here. And the inspiration for this whimsical folk art landscape is I wanted it to be, we're getting closer to spring, and I really just wanted spring vibes. And in this, I will be showing you how to glaze perhaps, and we'll just work on some beginner techniques. As being the first, we're going to do a gradient, and I want it basically darker on top and lighter on bottom. And I love Phthalo Blue. It is such a pretty color. However, it is staining. So if you make a mistake, it's not going to look as easy as, like, per se, a cerulean blue or your ultramarines. But regardless, it is a beautiful color for the sky. And with spring coming, we're having a lot more blue skies already. I know if you're in the New York area, anybody from the Boston area and all that, I know you guys were getting hit with a nor'easter. Some parts of Pennsylvania, so sorry about that. I know some people like the winter, but not me. Okay, so we got that. And then, so while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and work with our grass down here. Okay, so now we're taking some of that Phthalo Blue, and I mixed in a little bit of lemon yellow. And over here, I'm taking a little bit more lemon yellow. And I'm going to take a little bit of that Phthalo Blue. And I'm going to do one more mix. So we have just the different shades of green. Some being a little bit more on the yellow side, one in the middle, and then I want a little darker. And a little bit of yellow. So for here. Okay, I am going to do the wet on wet technique. And what that is for beginners, I am going to go ahead and wet this. And my brush is a little dirty. And that's why you're seeing just a hint of color. But I'm just adding water. And I'm going right over the trees because I can go ahead and cover those up. And then what I'm going to do is take a mixture of the color. Taking it between the greens that I have made up. Being mindful of the house because this is a phthalo color and it will stain. But just trying to add all 3 shades. Just filling in the green with wet on wet. And just filling it in. Trying to use different shades of the green. Okay. Now that we got that filled in, I'm going to add some quinacridone gold. And I am going back over what I had previously went over. And it was still wet. So I can add in a little bit of different values just to give it a little extra color. And I like that. So that will work. Now we're going to go ahead and let that dry. And when that dry, we will come back and work on some more hills. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the hill. And we're going to go ahead and paint this one first, and then we'll paint this one. This one we're going to do a light green, and this one we're going to do quinacridone gold. So our green mix is taking, once again, that phthalo green, or phthalo blue, and mixing it with some quinacridone gold. And because the hill is in the distance, we want it to be lighter. Because even though this is a simple composition, in theory, there's still principles, you know, that we're still kind of, rules that we're still kind of following. So we're going to just leave that lighter in color. So now we're just going to go ahead and once again, we need to let this dry so we can go on to the house. And I'm going to use a smaller brush. And I don't want that one. I want this one. Feel whatever size brush you feel comfortable with. I'm going with the size 6. Okay, for our house, we're taking some quinacridone rose, and I took a pinch of our green mix to neutralize it to make it a dusty rose color. And you can see it here. It's very pretty. And you want to use a watered down mix because the house, in honor of Valentine's, we're going to go ahead and have a pink house. And with having the pink house, it's also going to warm up the page because we have been mainly using cooler shades. Even though there's some warm in those cool shades, we're still using cooler shades. So the pink will give it a nice touch, I feel. And being a female, who wouldn't want a dusty pink colored house? I think it's very pretty. So trying to do this before the paint dries all the way. And we may have to go back over this so there's no, I don't want no harsh lines. So I hope everybody's doing well and getting ready for Valentine's. And if you don't have a Valentine's, that's okay. What un-Valentine's Day plans do you have? If you guys are doing anything special, just leave a note in the comments. Or leave a text in the comments. Okay. And so here is our pink colored house. Oh, I forgot the little addition to the house. Cannot forget that. Because it is, I want it to be the same color as the house. Okay. So that is done. Okay, now we're going to color the roof, and for that, we're just going to go ahead and generically use this Jane's Gray. And Jane's Gray, if you do not have it, is a mixture of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. And it gives you a very pretty gray color, which I'm going to utilize for the roof. And if I get quiet, it's just because I am concentrating a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint the door this color. And it's just a really nice, convenient color to have. Basically for my color palette, I went ahead and I put all the colors that was in Jane's Blendell's mix-in set. Now I'm going to take some buff titanium with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a tinge of a brown And we're going to just go ahead and make a path. And because there's some granulation in this, it's going to give it like look like a pebbly effect almost when it's done. Taking a little bit of ultramarine blue. Taking some more of that Jane Blundell gray, or that Jane's gray. Taking some more of that buff titanium. And just trying to clean up this line. You guys don't have to do this, but I'm just trying to clean that line up and give it a more grayish brown look. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take my quinacridone gold, and I am going to use my Princeton Neptune size 6 brush, and we're going to fill in this last mountain. And once again, going over the trees, it will not hurt it none. But we're going to stay away from the bush. But if you go over it, it's not a deal breaker, because it's going to be a green bush anyway. So with it going to be a green bush, this quinacridone gold will be in the color. Being mindful of the lines that we made. Okay, now we can keep in that bead. That's the main thing. And I don't always use enough of a watery mix because I want it to kind of dry a little faster. So a lot of times I don't keep that bead that I should. Okay, I went over the house, but that's okay. After all, we're just in our sketchbooks. This has just been a lot of fun practicing these in the sketchbook. And I'm going to go ahead, and even though this is wet, I'm going to go ahead and fill the bush in. And then trying to keep it a little darker on this side. Okay. So now we can go over here, and I'm going to take that green, but I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in. On these. And then I'm going to go ahead and I want to go ahead and put some trees over here. And I really like that. And then we'll let those dry. And then I want to put one here. And I just added some of our red to it to give it a darker color, because it's still going to show up. And if it doesn't, if we don't see it that well, then we can always go over it. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix some purple into that. And we'll just make it a purple tree, because I think the purple is going to look really nice. With it. Yes. Oh, I love that. Okay. And then we're going to take some of that. I like that purple and green. Nice. And then we're going to go ahead and add another purple tree down here. Wonderful. And then we'll go ahead and let that dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am taking a smaller brush. And this is a 0 round. Taking a little bit of that darker color that we had made. And then we're going to go ahead and very carefully do the pine tree. And what we're doing is drawing these lines down, because we're going to give it that folk art look. And you just little tiny strokes. To give it that pine needle look. That's why you want to use a smaller brush for this part. And being mindful you don't go over what you just previously painted on those trees. I have done that many a times where I put my hand in it. And then the last one. And I'm just doing little tiny strokes, little slants. And it's very relaxing. Okay, so now we're going to take some of that Jane's Gray color once again. And I want to put trunks on these. And then up here as well. And I am loving how this is looking. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and take in my size 6. And I'm taking some of that phthalo blue. And I want to water it down. And I want to fill in these little windows because during a sunny day, you would be able to see the blue sky from the windows. So I'm going to fill all these in blue. And then we're going to go over it in pen. So we're going to go ahead and let this dry, and then we're going to come back and we'll do the little bit more details to this.